Hello everybody. Evan Abrams back to you here with our penultimate video challenge of the week. Thanks for hanging out with us here on Adobe Live. Always good to see people here. We're going to be continuing on with more use cases in Premiere Pro, making use of text-based editing. Today's a doozy. Today's a big project. It is we'll say big in scope type of project. We are going to take a big corpus, a big collection of video. I'm going to try to extract little clips from it, little sound bites from it, and get all the people on it to sing us a song. That's the idea behind today. And this is something that is really only manageable with text-based editing. Now, if we were to do this before, what we're going to call the before times, we would have had to have review hours and hours and hours of footage, selecting this stuff out. So thankfully, transcription makes it a lot easier. And of course, editing from transcription makes it even easier still. So please, follow along. If you want to get your hands on the files to make your own, those are available. It's a big collection of stuff pulled from the Prelinger archive, some royalty-free public domain footage that we can enjoy. And I hope you do. I hope you make some stuff. I hope you share it with us. But hey, folks, thanks for hanging out with me here. Umacorn, Oliver, Cody Bear, holding it down. And, ooh, Rick, what's going on? Robert, Leah, hello. Hopefully I've said that right. Let me know, correct my pronunciation if I ever do anyone's name wrong. I want to be corrected. I want to know how to do things right. So without further ado, let's get into it. Let's make some stuff. This is going to be fun. So here we are inside of Premiere, and you let me know if you know this song.
Never gone to give up.
Never gone. Let you
down.
Never
gone
around and
dessert
you.
So hopefully that was good. Hold on, let me hopefully people could hear that. People are hearing the things coming out of my...
Never gone to give up.
Never gone. Let you
down.
Never
gone
around and
dessert.
you.
Little Rick Astley for everyone. Or maybe something more contemporary.
It's me. Hi.
The problem. It's me.
So there we go, a little Taylor Swift if you would enjoy. So hopefully do let me know if I need to bump the volume on that, and I'll make that happen. But should be getting good outputs out to the rig from this. So how do we do this? How do we turn a whole bunch of clips into one seamless thing? Seamless. Well, it starts by gathering a bunch of footage. So let's begin our story there. We are going to, maybe you've heard of this, maybe you haven't, we're going to dip into the Prelinger archive. Now, or Prelinger, or Prelinger. And this is where you can find a whole bunch of collected and preserved, say, archived footage. Some of it is hilarious in how dated it is. These are a lot of sort of industrial films. There is a lot of newsreel films. You'll find a lot of wild stuff on there. And if you're not familiar with the Internet Archive, archive.org, they do amazing work. And if you need to start getting this stuff, you can go check it out. So if we select one of these, let's grab Duck and Cover, the classic what to do in case of nuclear attack. Not great advice from this cartoon turtle, but you can come over here and you can download all types of different formats of this stuff. And I have gone ahead and used the MPEG-2 encoding. You just right click and you say download linked file. That'll get you everything you need. In order to create this particular corpus of stuff, I went ahead and pulled things specifically related to dating and relationships, because I thought I might be able to find, a lot of the common words used in pop songs in that kind of stuff. There is kind of an amount of searching for material that you would need, right? You need to make sure that your corpus of stuff will align with what you're going to try to do with it, which means you're probably going to want a very large body of it. Oh, and why not MPEG-3? Why not MP3s? Well, I don't know. I was going to do H.264s because they'd be smaller, but quality seemed to be there. So there's a lot of trade-offs depending on what you are going to be doing with this stuff, how important fidelity is versus file size versus playback. And critically, right, in this case, I did want the video to be fairly crispy, not too degraded. It's already been degraded by its own transfer from film. So anyway, that is why this. Okay, so once you've downloaded all of your stuff, you're going to bring all of your sources in here, and you're going to drop them all into a nice big bin. And then we're going to take that big bin of stuff, and we're going to make sure we transcribe all of these. Now, if you don't know how to transcribe in Premiere, might as well go through the process again. We've been doing it all week. You double click on your thing here. You come over to the text tab. If you don't see text, make sure that you've got text open, and you'll see a big transcribe button. Hit that, and it'll start to process things. We're not going to process all these today. There's way too many of them. We're not going to wait around for that. But you can process multiple things at once, and that's what we want. Then I want you to take all of these clips. I want you to take each and every one of them, drag them all of them onto the new sequence button down here. Click. This will produce a sequence. You see it has named it based off of the first one that we selected. And I'm going to name this either sources or things or all the stuff, exclamation point. Some way of knowing this is everything out on one timeline. Now, the important thing about that is that it means that all of those transcripts are laid end to end to end, just like all of the clips here are end to end to end. So we now have one corpus that we can search for any word that might appear in it. Now, I'm gonna say we need a lot of suggestions from the audience for this. So if you can think of lyrics, or you can think of phrases, or you can think of anything that you want people to say, start dropping them in the chat so that I can harvest that stuff. But let's say we look for the word happy, and we are going to find that happy is said 9 times in this corpus. So we're going to have 9 things to sample out of here. And if you just simply click on the word happy, or you highlight it, right, it's going to take us to where that is. We need to zoom in on the timeline.
Happy to have.
And there it is. So we can get to individual words really quickly and easily from this corpus. Now, one thing that you will probably want to do, if we go ahead and we scrub through here, if I just select some of these things, some of them are not going to have the same sort of frame dimension. And it can be really helpful to kind of stick these things all in one kind of frame dimension. The best way to do that, I find, is to just select everything, right click on it, and we are going to come down to scale to frame size. And that's going to scale all of our clips down into this particular frame size, so we don't have to go around resizing it too much. Everything will be nice and in there, right? So we want to now consider this one incredibly long strip, this big collection we put into one sequence. We want to be able to work with this just like we would if we were working with a single clip. So to do that, we want to make sure that we have, say, a brand new sequence open. So I'm going to close down all of this. We'll revisit some of our previous works in a moment. But we are going to take all the stuff, drag it down onto the new sequence, and I'll just delete this. Now, this has created a sequence that has all of the same properties as all the stuff, but thankfully it is now clear. There's no stuff in here for us to mess with. And let's give this, we're going to make a specific song. So that's what this is. So we only want the specific words that will build a song for us. So we might as well go with my original example of doing some Rick Astley, Never Gonna Give You Up. And we want to sample from all the stuff. Now, if I double click on all the stuff, that's going to open this up as a sequence. We don't want to do that, right? Close that sequence down. I need to right click on it. I want to come down to, open in source monitor. So now this is using the source monitor to preview this object. And now I can search in the text tab, in the transcript, for the word never. So we're going to grab never out of here. And let's see, how many times does this happen? 29. we're going to have 29 nevers, and that is a good sample size of nevers to have. So we're going to go ahead and select one, and we're just going to push it on down. Now, it doesn't look like anything happened. We really got to come in tight on the timeline so that we can see. This person says never very quickly. And that's right, Oliver. This is indeed an incredibly intensive Rickroll that we're putting together here. Now, one thing you'll notice, right, is we've now snapped into here when we've lost the stuff that we wanted to look at. So I'm going to uncheck follow active monitor so that when we come into our source, all the stuff, and we come into the transcript of all the stuff, we're going to be able to find what we want a lot easier. So again, remember, we want to right click on all the stuff, and we want to come on down to, where did you go? Where did you go? Open in source monitor so that that shows up here. We come over to text, and then we are going to be able to find specifically what we are after. Make sure that I'm in the right place. And you want to say, show me the source. So this is the important clicking down here. So you see, if you want to see what's in the program monitor, you hit this button. If you want to see what is in the source, you click on this one. So now we need to find the word Gonna, G-O-N-N-A. Okay, here's one. We got one, which is not a lot. And so we are going to go ahead and grab this one. We're going to push that.
Be gone, Mom. Be gone, Mom.
Now, unfortunately, I don't think this person really says gonna.
Be gone, Mom.
But it is pretty close. Maybe vocally, like maybe auditorily, it sounds close. But you may want to actually audition some more. So let's look for just the word gone. So see if we can grab some gones out here. Or maybe we can find some goings, right? So what we want to do is basically cruise through and see if we can find anything that sounds close. Now, we are at the mercy of the transcript, so anything that is a homophone, things that sound the same but might be spelled different, right? You might want to hunt for those. But let's go ahead and look for gone. And let's put some gones down. You can use the down here, the down button, to just take us to the next example of gone that we want. So let's just pull some of those. There's a gone. Here's a gone. There we go. We're going to see how we like, see if we like any of those.
Be gone, Mom. Gone, gone, gone.
Gone.
And keep in mind, for a song like this, we may actually require multiples of this. So if people are familiar with the Rick Astley tune, Never Gonna Give You Up, there's a lot of never gonna stuff back to back to back in it. So you may want to audition a bunch of these.
Be gone, Mom. Gone, gone, gone.
Gone.
And I like these two here because they are
Gone.
Gone.
nice and long. And we're gonna just go like this.
Gone.
So there we go. We got two. And now we need to give. So let's see. Let's see if we can get to give. And I like to come back to the top of the corpus here, select something, and then type in the thing so that it begins searching from the very top and coming all the way down. So now we're going to look for give. Another tip that I want to give you is if you're having trouble isolating the specific word that you want, put a space before and after it. So this means that it's going to be finding it. So if we use the word up, let's see here. There we go, upset. We don't want upset, we just want the word up. So that's why putting either a space before and after will make sure that it's not just grabbing a part of the word and we're getting the actual whole word. Now, I'm not sure if we are eventually going to get into specific kind of searching for things like putting quotes to say like exact match, for example. And then the other thing that is probably useful, Yeah, I want to do never going to give you up. So if I grab a you up, we have a you up on here. That's got to be pretty good.
Yep.
But unfortunately, it's a yup.
Yep.
That's funny. Hold on, let me just make sure that we're isolated with this.
Like, pick up.
Yup. So he is saying pick you up, but unfortunately, he's not enunciating well enough between them for us to really make use of it. Okay, so we must press on.
Never gone.
We want to get to give, so let's get give in here. So let's, ooh, give you. Okay, I'm going to grab that. Like that. We'll pull that down.
Never gone. Achieving.
So pretty good. That's working pretty good. And then, actually, were there any other instances of give yous? Well, there's a second give you. Hold on. Give you. Yes, yes. We're going to grab this give you. Let's audition that one as well. So pull that. Let's pull this. And I think that's it. I think there's only the 3.
Achieving.
Give you.
All right, let's expand this one here and see. He's talking too fast.
Give you.
Never gone. Achieving.
Yeah, I like this.
Never gone. Achieving.
Okay, so we got to go. Things are going well. Let's get an up in there. So we'll go up. Try to find. I mean, we have 29 ups to choose from in our corpus. Now, the other thing to consider when you're doing this is you may come to a point where like, oh, the word I want just isn't in here. It's just not part of the stuff, right? And if that turns out to be the case, yeah, this up is too quick, so that's not going to work. Too much music in the background. So if you run into a case where you can't find the word, you may have to try to assemble it from various homophonic things. So different parts of words and assemble them and mash them together. Or you're going to have to go back to the body of stuff and you have to expand your corpus with more things. What's really nice about doing things this way is if you just get a new file and then you drop it down into all the stuff, just drop it at the end, and now it's part of that big searchable transcript, right? Nothing is particularly locked when we do this because the transcript lives on each of the clips themselves. Adding a new clip into the sequence is not particularly disruptive. So if you need to add more, think about maybe needing to do that. But let's see how we're doing.
Never gone. Achieving.
So pretty close. I'd say we're getting pretty close here. Let's talk a little bit, because I know we've only got a little bit more time together, about refining and improving this. One thing I really recommend you do is select everything, open up your essential sound. If you go Window, pull open your essential sound here, and tag everything in here as dialogue. And then the next thing you want to do is come into loudness and auto-match the loudness between these.
Never gone. Achieving.
And that'll help to harmonize the audio levels between all these things. So it is trying to match all of the loudness of these together, and that'll help them feel a little bit more seamless with each other. The next thing I would recommend doing is dropping on some repair. So if you put on a reduced noise, especially with these archival clips, we do need to probably reduce some of the background hum and crackle that comes from the particular audio.
Never gone. Achieving.
And this is kind of reducing, you can see that their volume is coming down. So if we go ahead and increase,
Never gone. Achieving.
you might need to bring up
Never gone. Achieving.
the actual clip level to compensate for all of these different kind of knocking down, all the knocking down that we seem to be doing as we're repairing and matching the loudness. So you may have to do that. The next thing that we want to do is think about timing and see if we need to really fix up the timing on these.
Never gone. Achieving.
And this one needs to be clipped a little like that. This one, I think, needs to be extended a little bit. And we're going to make sure that we are grabbing.
Achieving. Never gone.
let's see, these two here could stand
Never gone. Choosing left.
like that. And of course, the other thing that I like to do is Command-Shift-D, apply our little tiny little crossfade in between each one.
Never gone. Choosing left.
And that'll help to smooth between them. That'll take some of the bumps out of this as these clips kind of butt against each other. One of the things you really want to avoid with these types of things, if I can come in real tight on this, maybe hopefully we can kind of see, is areas where, if I remove this constant power here, you see where there's kind of a sharp cliff between this audio and this audio, the audio on each of those frames. That's what causes the part where it sounds like something is dropping off, something bad is happening here. So those are areas that we want to try to bridge even just a little. And the least we can do it is a little two-frame a little two-frame easing like this, but sometimes that's just enough to make it work like that. Now, the other thing that you may want to consider is we are going to need to kind of stretch these things out sometimes. So if you need to have maybe a little bit more video but no audio, that's totally fine. We want to just come up here and remove our linked selection. Let's, give ourselves a couple of frames on either side of this, like so. Another thing that might happen if you start doing this, you may find that like there's a split or something in our source. So let's see if we have, do we have any examples of that in here? Good thing we don't. We've nailed it so far. But if there was, say, a cut between two things, this is when you want to come in with your slip edit here. Tapping Y will bring up our slip edit tool. And then you can kind of rock the rails on this thing just to move it back and forth a little bit. Thankfully, with archival footage, people will generally forgive a little bit of out of synchronous, a little bit of out of sync happening between the audio and video. And if you need to massage it a little bit, I recommend you do. The worst thing is to have just a little singular frame, a singular slice before we cut to the next clip. So we want to try to harmonize like that. And you might even do this by just extending the stuff like this so we get little bridge overs like so.
Never gone. Choosing left.
Like that. Let's go to some of the examples that I prepared earlier so you can check out some of these, particularly this one.
It's me. Hi.
The problem. It's me.
So if we go into these, we're gonna increase their loudness a little bit.
It's me. Hi.
The problem. It's me.
And you can see that what I've had to do here is actually slide some of the video back and forth. You can see that this here needed a bit of a bridge in order to accommodate the amount of pause that we wanted in there. Now you're probably going to be asking, Evan, now we've got the lyrics, what about the music? Well, you may want to investigate. And I'll never tell anybody to do anything illegal, but if you look around the internet and you find, say, karaoke versions of these songs, that will help you to pull the music without lyrics. As well, if you're thinking about what other things might I use as a corpus for this, what other collections of stuff might I get? Well, I mean, if you're able to find, like, say, a season of television, or maybe some wonderful classic films out there in the world. A lot of studios do a good job of keeping their stuff out of the public domain, but hey, maybe it's very click-worthy. I can't speak to what the fair use laws are where you are, but I would imagine that a supercut falls under fair use and parody, so perhaps you are in the clear. We're not on this show. I can show you how to do it, but should you choose to do it is your own business. I feel like I'm being way shadier than I have to be. For the purposes of comedy, I think you can do just about anything on the internet. And Umacorn, this is Taylor Swift's anti-hero.
It's me.
The problem. It's me.
Other things that work great, songs by Cake, because it's much more of like a sing-talking. Things that are going to be difficult, right? If you go to use this type of technique and you're trying to cut things together, produce a supercut like this, here's some things that are going to be super hard, right? Anytime there are specific names in a song, 8675309 Jenny, difficult, right? Anytime that there is very modern language, a very specific language, so if a songwriter is being incredibly specific with their lyrics, it's going to be pretty hard to slice this stuff together. But I highly recommend making the effort. Download this corpus of stuff, give this technique a try, just to reiterate the steps that you do. we bring in all of our sources, we transcribe all of our sources, right? And then we put them all into one sequence. We push that sequence into the source monitor up here so that we are opening it in the source. And we make sure that we're not following the active monitor so that we can get exactly the clips we want out of this thing. And that'll allow us to bring it out here into the space. Now, I wonder, can we even do anti-hero? No, I don't think we have anti-ant. Do we have ant? Do we have hero in here? We don't. So we probably want to actually pull a totally different corpus of stuff if we want to do the rest of the lyrics. And you may even want to start by looking for things, if you remember, like, oh, I heard something in a movie or something that sounded like in a song, and try to work off of that. However, that brings us to the end of this. I really hope that people use this technique and share it with us on the Discord. I really want to see what you all might make out of this. This is a lot of fun, great remixing stuff, and might be interesting to see what you can all create with it. Use different corpuses of things, use different lyrics, try to put things together, mix and match and remix. That's what I'm all about on here. So hopefully we can see, deploy some of this stuff, share it with us. bit.ly/PR, Discord, capital P, capital R. And we've got more things coming up for you today. So more things here on Adobe Live. Stick around. It's going to be great. I'm Evan Abrams. Till next time, stay creative, be kind to each other, and I'll see you all around the internet. All right, bye for now.